I bought the cheapest tattoo machine on Amazon, and today I'm taking on a challenge to create a design with it, incorporating lining, shading, and filling to make it more challenging. The entire tattoo kit cost me €42 without tax, incredibly cheap. Normally, I only work with absolute professional equipment, so I'm curious and will try to judge objectively. Also, I want to mention that this is not a sponsored video. I purchased the machine myself and will share my honest opinion with you in this video. Let's start with the unboxing. So here we have a needle box with 20 needle modules. There's also a large battery included. Having only one battery can lead to issues while working if there's no spare, but for this price, it's totally fine. Let's talk about the highlight, the tattoo machine. It looks very simple, and I like its design. You can adjust the needle just like with conventional tattoo pens with a simple twisting motion. It's incredible how many parts you get for so little money. Normally, a single or 2 packs of needles cost me the same as this entire set, which is unbelievable. There are only a few gloves included, so that won't last long. In my daily work at the tattoo studio, I use around 30 pairs a day. The stencil stuff wasn't included. That needs to be purchased separately. The included stencil paper works quite well, as you can see here. Now, let's stick the ink caps. I use Vaseline for that, but Vaseline wasn't in the set. There are 12 different colors included, black and white, making it 14 in total. Quite a lot of colors for the price. I'm curious to see if I can create a beautiful design with this cheap set. Connecting the machine to the battery and switching it on. With a double click, you can adjust the voltage ranging from 5 to 11 volts. I usually work with 8 volts. I'll sterilize the machine, and then let's proceed directly to the first needle. For the outlines, I'm using a 5-round liner needle. Let's draw the first line. I must say I'm surprised by how well it's working, but I also noticed that my more expensive machine is significantly lighter. My loyal subscribers already know this, but I usually work with the needle extending 4 millimeters from the needle module for precise work. Unfortunately, with this machine, it's only possible to have the needle extend 3 millimeters from the module. It's still sufficient, but 4 millimeters would be even better. Let's try drawing a long, continuous line. During this line, I noticed that the machine's vibrations are slightly stronger compared to the more expensive machines, but it's not a deal breaker. It's still possible to work precisely. So far, I'm really surprised by how well the machine is functioning. If it works as well for shading and filling, I'd be genuinely amazed by this machine and its low price. While working on these lines, I also noticed that the weight distribution due to the protruding battery isn't optimal. With my other machine, the weight is much more forward, making it much more comfortable to work with. According to the manufacturer, the battery lasts 4 to 6 hours, which is approximately the same as the expensive models. The artificial skin was included in the set, and I must say, it's alright. It absorbs the ink quite well for the lines, at least. My overall impression so far, except for the slightly stronger vibration, the maximum needle setting of only 3 millimeters, and the weight, I'm very satisfied with the machine. But we've only done the outlines. Let's move on to shading. For shading and filling, I'm using a 7 soft edge Magnum. I'm gradually working from light to dark, starting with black. At first, I shade cautiously to get a feel for the machine. I'm employing the under shading technique here. I'll have a separate video about that. If you don't want to miss that and many other videos I'm planning to produce, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for the support. I initially thought the needle might not fit securely in the module, but it feels good to shade with it so far. The blend with black worked quite well. Let's move on to filling. I'm evenly working the color into the skin. As for filling, I can't say anything negative. It's functioning normally. I'm using the pendulum and whip shading techniques here, and I've already produced videos about them. I'll link them in the video description. Whenever I change colors, I rinse the needle in a cup of distilled water. Let's move on to red. I'm curious to see how the colors work for tattooing. They seem quite thin and fluid in consistency, which I like because, in my opinion, it allows the color to be worked into the skin better. Regarding colors, I personally would never use these cheap colors on real skin or on a client. Similarly, I wouldn't use the needles included in the set on real skin because it's about health, and I only work with absolute quality products to avoid unnecessary risks. However, I could use the color and the needles on artificial skin. Incorporating the red color went normally. Now onto light blue. Each tattoo machine has a different size and weight. Depending on your strength, you should compare machines of different weights to find one that suits you. On average, a typical tattoo machine weighs about 220 grams. If that's too heavy for you and you need something lighter, you'll have to compare different brands. But don't worry, there are many lightweight tattoo machines available. Now, to conclude and share my thoughts about the machine, I find the machine itself good. You can work cleanly with it. The needle runs smoothly and evenly from the module. For my taste, it's too heavy and the weight is distributed incorrectly, but you can still work with it, and that's a matter of preference. I could imagine using this machine on real skin, but I wouldn't use any of the included accessories on real skin. For that, I would use high-quality needles and ink. Quality is essential in this field, and I would advise the same. I know from major manufacturers I've spoken to that expensive needles are individually inspected, which isn't possible with such cheap needles. Another drawback of this product is that the needle adjustment doesn't feel high quality because the battery rotates when adjusting it. One aspect I can't assess right now, but is crucial, is the durability of the machine. I have a machine I bought 10 years ago and it still works. So you'll have to decide for yourself whether it's worth it to buy an expensive or cheap machine. I think it also makes a difference if you tattoo daily, like I do, for example, or if you just want to try tattooing. For experimenting, this machine is sufficient. And as you can see here, you can create really beautiful tattoos with it. Feel free to write in the comments which machine you use and how satisfied you are with it so we can have an exchange here as well. Good luck on your journey.